Hey guys, hello and welcome to this EZChatLive. Now guys, this one is super important. I always say that I'm excited. I say often that it's a special one. This one is exclusive. And I tell you why. Because I connected to my guest today, wonderful Amanda Hines, who is here. Amanda is a success coach and a mindset mentor. And we connected and I swear it was something absolutely amazing. We just, we felt each other's vibrations when we were talking, and I said, listen, we have to bring this to the world. Some things, it's a shame to keep them between just two people. You have the energy, you have that light, and you need to shine it to the world. So that's why I think that, and I'm so delighted that Amanda could join me tonight. And thank you everybody who signed up to my live alerts, and I'm glad to see you here. Hi Brandon, hi Melanie, hi Wendy. So we are going to talk about a few things, and one of the most important things is your energy. What do you attract and why you might be attracting clients or people in your life that are not something you want in your life. So Amanda, we'll just start with, maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit, talk about yourself.
Yeah, so thank you, Juliette, for having me. So like Juliette has said, I am a mindset mentor and success coach, and I specifically work with the service-based entrepreneurs in the business-to-business market. And so really what I help you to do is I help you to master your message so that you are connecting with your right people. So the right people can be clients, they can be business partners, they can be even team members if you are building your business and preparing to scale. So all of this has to do with your messaging and how you're communicating with people.
This is so interesting because, when we were talking earlier today and we were touching on the sort of the subject of how people actually are buying, or what what causes the purchasing decision in people. And we were saying, like I was saying, that for me, if it's a negative message, and somebody tries to scare me, it is not really actually working, because I bought all programs I have ever bought, or I hired all coaches I've ever hired because of the promise of a better life, not because they scared me. And you mentioned Russell Brunson email and your reaction. Do you mind just telling the world about this as well?
Yeah, so first of all, this is not to say Russell Brunson is a bad person. I think he's amazing.
No.
But I read one of his emails one day, and it was promoting a new program that he had that was supposed to help you with writing your sales pages. And as I opened it, I was excited, but then instantly fear just filled my entire body. I mean, as a super confident, super strong woman, it was really abnormal to me that I was feeling so much fear literally grip me just by reading his email. And so it was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to feel like this. This is not going to make me buy. This is actually going to repel me from this type of service provider.
That's right, and this is the same with me, and I was just saying to my husband, if somebody says to me your tap is leaking and it's going to flood your house, I'm actually going to wait until it floods my house. But if somebody says to me, buy this tap, it will make sure your house is never flooded, I will go and buy it. I'll just go and say, look, this is great. It's going to make sure that I'm happy forever after. And this is so amazing, because when you basically, then it just makes me look back at all my sales pages and see, hang on a second, am I playing on this pain points? And then, perhaps if I make a couple of changes and actually make sales pages so that I want to buy this product, it could completely change, rather than following somebody's template that you actually don't 100% resonate, right? Yeah. So this is very interesting. And okay, well, so tell me about this, the energy behind the message, that as we were talking earlier.
Yeah, so there are two types of energy that you can really have behind your message. One is about relatability, and one is about resonance. And as Juliette and I are talking, we tend to fall towards energy of resonance. So if you think about it from this perspective, there's a lot of people saying that you need to start your messaging about their pain, what is your client's pain, right? And so in a lot of messaging, you see struggle, overwhelm, hardship, right? And so if your messaging is talking about struggle, overwhelm, and hardship, you're almost guaranteed to attract people who are struggling, overwhelmed, and having hardship. And so if you're saying, why am I getting clients who are struggling financially? Well, you called them in, right? And so that messaging relates to their struggle. It's not inviting them out of it. It's saying, I relate to you, honey. It's absolutely okay that you're struggling. This is fine. This is what you're supposed to be at right now. When you come from that place, you start to attract. This is why people attract people that are basically asking to be saved. And these are codependent relationships that you are calling out in your business. So if you want a business where people are whole and self-sufficient, then you have to remove the fear-based energy from your message. Instead, so that's relatable messaging. And then there's resonant messaging, which is, okay, I understand that you may be challenged by this specific thing that I help you with as a service provider, but that no way, shape, form means that you're struggling as a human. That doesn't mean you're struggling to pay your bills. That doesn't mean you're overwhelmed with life. That doesn't mean you're a weak person, right? So this is the type of messaging that I promote, and this is the type of messaging that really helps me to call on the types of clients that will pay me in full for my services, that are absolutely able to pay me. Sometimes I'll say, this is the deposit. And they're like, well, I'm actually able to pay 3 times that today, which has happened to me on numerous occasions, right? It's about resonant energy. And so you have to also look at it, am I calling in someone who is desperate, or am I calling in someone who is committed? Right.
That is so true, because the majority of people are complaining about the customers that are needy, the customers that don't pay, if they offer payment plan, they cancel. And, or even if they did pay, that's not a money issue. It's just someone who is like a damsel in distress, and whatever strategies you're teaching them, they're not actually implementing them, because maybe they're in a position that they're not able to take action right now, and maybe ever, some of them ever, because, it's a personal thing. But then you end up in this, energy zapping situation where you wish them well and you're giving them everything, but then you just get like frustrated because nothing is changing. So they're not bringing results you want to bring, and that you can't even show up for whatever you are giving them because they're not doing it. They're just not growing. My husband, I was talking about Amanda to my husband earlier, and I said about this saving versus helping. It's a different situation. He said, and he couldn't connect with the word save and help. So what he was saying to me, he said, okay, if you're downsizing, or if you are helping from the situation of desperation, then maybe you are saving. But the other thing is growing. And I actually also really liked that, because when you're helping somebody and you don't have that desperate message, you're saying to them, look, it could be, let's grow from this point. So you're not really saying you're in a desperation point, and you're offering this growth. And I thought, because the words that we use resonate with different people in different way, like what happened with me and my husband. And an interesting thing is that I am not an English speaking person. My first language actually is Russian, and I know a lot of my audience are people who is not, English is not their first language. So what happens is that we might sometimes confuse the two words relate and resonate. And this is so interesting, because what happened to me today is I actually digged out the Russian and English dictionary. That hasn't happened in decades. I digged it out to see exactly what these two words might mean, and if in maybe cognitively I didn't see the difference, and now I know. And oh my God, the massive mindset shifts I've had, even just in the space of 3 hours. We only spoke 3 hours ago. Was amazing, because just you think everybody's saying you need to get your customers to relate to you, but that's not really the right word to use.
Right.
This is amazing.
And I've been in that position as well too, where I thought that I was supposed to have my clients relate to me, right? I need to be, and if you think about it, relatability is like, I'm your friend. That's the feeling we get when we hear relation, right? We think, oh, if I'm not relatable, nobody will want me to hire them.
That's right.
But you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Do you want your clients to hire you because you're friends or because you are mentoring them?
Yeah, and they're completely different.
Of mentorship, not of a particular. Now, a friendship may form, and that's absolutely fine, right? But there's a different energy in a client to coach relationship, right?
That is so true. Our audience, they're sending us hearts. They're saying this is awesome, so true. The right words are so powerful. It is true. Now, the second part I want to talk to you, there's a few things that I want to touch. And you know what? Me and Amanda, we can talk for about 5 hours nonstop.
It's true.
Both of us. It's like we went on a 10 minutes phone call just to meet each other face to face, and it ended up like an hour long conversation, and I had to stop it. I said, stop. We have to tell this. All our lovely peeps, we need to let them know about this. So one thing that I noticed when I came across Amanda, I think randomly in maybe a group or something that we share, and I really liked her face. I just always believe my sixth sense, and I sent her a friend request, and when Amanda accepted it and she contacted me and we started talking, we arranged the call today, I checked out then her profile, and I noticed that she had something like 1,400 followers. I was like, wow, this is so cool. But then I looked and she only has 140 or something, 160 friends or something, small amount of friends. And I was a bit, surprised because, I'm always expanding my connections. So now I'm hitting something like 3,000 friends. And, as an engagement and organic marketer, I should have sort of looked like I have a lot of Facebook friends. But I loved, and when I told all this to Amanda said to me a very interesting, her angle was completely different on how to accept your friends on Facebook. So, all these 1,400 followers, that's not people that just follow. It's people we reject, they go into following, which is also a good number to have. You have to be picky. So what is your criteria?
So when I'm going through, and this is a really good question. So, because I use Facebook organically as well, I do not have any paid advertising. I may in a few weeks from now, but not today. And when I am going through, I am looking for someone that is already vibrating from a high energy. This person is having great conversation already. They are very positive. They have a high spirit. This person essentially I resonate with their energy, right? And so that is what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for, is there anything that I would want to talk to this person about, right? Is there an opportunity for connection? Because if there's nothing, even if they're a great person, if there's nothing that I can talk to you about, then we will just be friends and then there will be nothing else. It'll be almost pointless, right? It's like, oh, I admire you from afar, but there's nothing to talk about. And then the third criteria that I have is, can I bring value to this person's life? And I'm a very good reader of character. I have a spirit of discernment. I can instantly tell if there's some way, whether that's I can send them a referral, I can, provide them with a free resource to better their business. There needs to be some way that I can bring value to their life.
That's a great.
If they don't meet all three criteria, essentially, then I'll see them later.
I feel so honored, guys. Seriously, I was so happy because sometimes, I have we all have this part of the brain that sabotages everything. You have a live call and the brain is like, cancel it now, cancel, I don't want it. It's this kind of thing. Or you go on the call and there's another thing that you might agree with me. The call finishes and you're like, you want to hide. I was just discussing with another friend of mine that the brain, this little part of the brain, it just always tries to sabotage you. And now I just say, shut up, brain, and I laugh at it. But this whole thing, you gave me value, Amanda, today. In just this one first hour, I felt, I think that this was a life-changing hour at this stage of my life, because there was one or two things you said that were completely brought me out of the cotton wool head into clarity, crystal clear.
Yeah.
And I love this. So thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
And I love the idea that you are looking, this is a great stance to have. You're looking at your people who you accept as friends from a point of what you can give them.
Yes.
That is an amazing, like in terms of law of attraction, this is the right way to be. It's not like what they can give you.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
That's absolutely true. And another thing that I would even say about that is go back and refine your friends list, right? Because you evolve as a person as well. And so as you raise your level of consciousness, there are some people that no longer, you won't resonate with their energy anymore, right? You may have related with them in the past, and that relationship has kind of fallen away. And that's okay, right? Because you want to get rid of the old and then make space for the new, right? So I want it to be, it's interesting because even when we think about it, there's an abundance of people that you can resonate with right now, right? So if you're getting to 5,000, you're probably going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm having conversations every single day. There's 1,000 people that I need to talk to right now, right? And that can seem overwhelming. But if you have a small group of, let's say, 100 or 200 people, you can schedule it and say, I'm just going to make sure that I reach out to this person and let them know that they're still in my mind. They're still an important relationship to be, that I value this relationship. And I really, even though Facebook algorithm is always changing, I make sure that if I haven't connected with a few people in my friends list, I will literally schedule it on my calendar to go reach out to them on a specific date. Wow. Just because I want, relationships are that important to me. Yeah.
I love that because it's a little bit different to how I see like growing the audience and what I sometimes teach people. But I think that what I can take out of this is being a little bit even extra picky in who I send friend requests and maybe go and see if there is this vibe and what I can give to them. Then this is such a great way. I find that busy lifestyle, very busy action taker. So sometimes private conversations, they do take time and they just don't happen to me as much, and like I was saying, and then I have this saboteur in my head who says, you need to go and do this, cancel this meeting. I never cancel anything. I still end, and I never regret that I don't cancel, because I meet amazing people. But I'm just saying, this is how like the personalities and all these things that we have in our heads that work. Another thing that Amanda brought amazing value to me today, we were talking about that we are like straightforward people. I can come across very heavy, especially with some of my clients that I work with. I don't talk about the coaching clients, but there's a few people I work with, and we are so close here in Ireland, and we're so close that sometimes, there is this, like my no BS thing is a little bit too heavy for them because Irish people are not as straightforward as the Eastern European people. And they have these clashes where, they just start saying something and they need time to go around, and I'd be like, no! And that's the end of the conversation. But what I loved what you said to me today, it's about your message again. We're going back to the message, and it's about not just talking straight to your ideal client and not actually caring about the rest. So if the rest don't like it, that's what I picked up. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, that's what you want. That's what you want. Because this is the thing, right? If you have a feel-good message, which a lot of people do, and God bless them, they have feel-good messages, but there's no substance there, right? You have to stand, if we're going to go back to the marketing foundation and what you really stand for, in order to stand for something, you also have to stand against something, right? And so let's say, for example, and I'm going to just use course creators as an example. They stand for passive income. They stand for serving the masses. They stand for automation, making money in your sleep, right? That's what they stand for. At the same time, they can stand against and hold firm to. They stand against one-to-one work, right? They stand against this whole customer intimacy. They stand against high ticket, right? You can stand against something, and it doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's just what you stand for. And so it's the same thing in your messaging. I stand against building codependent relationships with my client relationship, right? And I talk about it day in and day out. And the universe tests me all the time. It's like, are you sure? And I'll get a client ask me, well, can I pay late? No, you cannot, right? because I don't want you to be dependent on me, because what then happens is then that karmic energy cycles back to me, and then that late payment means that I have to pay someone late, right?
That's
Or
right.
someone doesn't, and then it puts a domino effect in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and that's
So
one
it
of the
comes
most
to,
common
yeah,
things, isn't it? Is this payment thing. Then it just takes your peace away from you.
yes,
You're just completely like the anxiety. Money issues are the worst issue. So why bother? Like, why actually put yourself in a situation where you're going to be, vulnerable to it?
yes,
You know?
exactly. And so you want to invite your clients, and this is a very good example of resonant versus relatable energy. So a lot of times when the money objection comes up during a sales conversation, and people are like, well, I can't afford it because, let's say, I have to pay my child's daycare this month and it's whatever, X amount of dollars. Well, in relatable energy, you're like, oh my goodness, I understand too, because my kids go to daycare and I understand how heavy it is. So because you relate to them, they're going to say, all right, well, so you're going to give me a discount, right? And you're like, yeah, because I relate. You see how that sets you up for a bad situation?
Yeah.
And you resonate with them. You can say, oh my goodness, my kids go to daycare too, and it's so wonderful. But you know what? Even though they go to daycare, I make sure I pay in full so that I don't have this additional expense. So I'm going to invite you to meet me here. That's just so much more powerful, and a transformation actually takes place even before they become your client.
That's right, and then you're setting up the boundaries. That's the one
Yeah.
more, and that's one of the things on my list today about setting up boundaries. For me, I'd
Yeah.
suffered for 5 years probably when I started my business that I did not set up boundaries at the start with my clients. I was too desperate to just get any work. I didn't niche down and everything. Like I would take anything down my way because I started my business in a position of financial frustration,
Yeah.
and something that then when the financial frustration went away, I was still working with some of the people initially that I got engaged, and I felt this, that because there was no boundaries in the beginning, that I feel that maybe there's, they're not paying me enough for what they're getting and things like that because my prices go up. They're not aware of that, and all these things. And then it turns into this resentment you have, and then you start clashing with people. But it's not their fault. It's actually you. It's you didn't set up these boundaries. You didn't put, or even didn't have guts to come in then at later stage and say, look, that was my fault. I didn't do it last year. I just can't do it now. Because we have to recalculate
and
here.
I would love to share a little story about something that is so powerful. When I started my business, I started in a place of financial frustration as well, right? And so I was taking just about anybody that will come through the door, right? Which I don't do now because I don't have those frustrations, but also because I had to consciously commit to only work with people who were fully committed, right? Because I'm in a fully committed relationship here. And so what happened is I had a client grow with me. And she was like, why do I keep attracting people who can't pay and who are like always late? And I said, well, guess what? Are you always late? And she was like, oh crap, I am always late. I said, so let's commit right now that moving forward, you pay on time or early.
That is great, yeah.
Yes. And so what actually happened is she said, okay, let's pay on time or early. And I said, okay, all right, what else do you want to happen in your business? She said, I want to make more money. I want my clients to pay me double what they're currently paying. I said, well, do you feel comfortable doing that? She said, actually, I do. So what happened? Listen to what just happened here. What she wanted, she first became.
You know what? A lot of people are saying this. I had a conversation with my 17-year-old daughter today, and I said, I was saying things to her that she needs to exercise, and she is beautiful and skinny, and she doesn't need to lose any weight or, watch what she is eating. But we were discussing, she felt guilty that she wanted cereal and there's too much sugar, and so she wouldn't ask us to buy her cereal or something. And I said, look, everything you do is your responsibility right now. You're 17 years old now, right? So you're responsible. But the truth in life is that everything that people say to you, tell you, if it's not a limiting belief like making money is hard or something. That's limiting belief, right? But if somebody says to you, you need to exercise, and because it will benefit you in your life if you get exercising habits now while you're young. I wish my mom said that to me. I was skinny and I never had to worry about it, and now I feel like I'm lazy and I'm turning into a little pear. But this is it. And I said, the truth is that everything that people are saying to you is truth. And I learned this when I started building my business and taking myself seriously in business and thinking about these things. So everything that people are saying, that all the mentors are saying, and you're taking it comes into one ear, comes out of the other, because you're coming up with all these excuses not to do it. But it's true. When you change the mindset of your own, and you change it so you can accept things, then you will attract people that will resonate with that position you're in. So if you are looking for freebies, if you're looking for free information to pick somebody's brain and you're not appreciating them with money, so how do you expect that you're going to just put in I have discovery calls and people will come and say, oh yeah, there is 10,000 and just take it? No, they will try and pick your brain. You have to think about yourself. So if you feel yourself, I actually used to be like that. I had this, born in the Soviet Union, we all have money issues. And I remember if I go into the shop shopping for clothes, my first rail would be sale rail for years, and I had to consciously change that because it feels like I can't allow myself to go and spend money on myself, and this is something that's in your own head. And the moment when that happens and when you actually feel so much more confident and, you don't have to worry about it, just go and get what you like, rather than you're in a different position and the way you treat money is differently and everything is different. So guys, listen to what the mentors are saying, especially if you see that everybody's saying the same thing. Don't make excuses not to take this on board. That's my whole point. Because you do have to change in order to receive what you want.
Yes, right? You do. And it actually starts with your mindset, right? And your mindset is actually made up of your environment, right? So people say, okay, well, I can't just change my mind. Well, first you have to be consciously aware of what you want to change. So you have to analyze yourself, not necessarily be self-critical, but you need to analyze yourself and say, what is not working? What thoughts are coming into my head that are consciously creating or subconsciously creating this life that I don't want or these results that I do not want? And then you think about what the mindset is saying, or what is coming from your mind? What is influencing those thoughts, right? Because your thoughts don't come out of anywhere, just nowhere. We think they do, but they don't. The movies you watch, the music you listen to, the live streams you watch, everything, the family you have, the friends, the husband you're married to, they are all influencing the thoughts that come into your head. So if any of those factors are incongruent with who you desire to be and how you desire to think, then you have to change yourself and remove yourself from that environment. Or then, here's another thing, you have to now invite people to resonate with the energy that you want to be at, or you invite them to leave. And that's the hard part sometimes, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to get rid of these friends. I've known them forever. Yeah, but guess what? They're not going anywhere, and they're not going to have you go anywhere either. So, or, it may not be your friends. It may be the music you're listening to that's telling you you're a loser, right? Maybe you should stop listening to that music and start saying, I'm going to purge myself of that belief that I'm a loser, and then actually listen to music that's going to inspire and motivate and really celebrate me as a human being.
This is so true. I had to do a lot of work on my own mindset probably about 4 years ago, because I found that I was extremely negative. I was fixating on all these what we call thought mosquitoes, and it just went like this and this, and I didn't have a way to get over it until I started really thinking about who I am, how I react to things, what I'm actually doing, and changing things. So getting rid of people who were negative out of my life. Some of them were very difficult because I was depending financially on them. And you know what? The day I let some of these people go, or those days, were the best days of my life as an adult. I think I felt so free, so at peace, and really happy within myself. And never ever since then I allowed anyone who had any similar attributes to those people who are zapping, who tend to zap my energy, energy into my life. So I'm eliminating them from my life, and it's just been so amazing. And it's never scary, because you know what, even with friends, we'll just start being in touch a bit less. Eventually it's just all gonna fizzle out, and sooner than you think as well, but it won't zap your energy. Yes, sometimes we have people within the family who are a little impulsive or anything, but you know what, there's always a way. You have to protect yourself and put yourself first, because if you're not in a good place, you can't give any goodness to the world or anybody. You can't help anybody. So so if you're here and your mission is to help, and and then you have all these little cockroaches in your head, that's not going to happen.
That's true.
Address them first. Get rid of them first. And this is, I feel like this is something that it's a constant journey, because the deeper you dig, the more of the cockroaches are coming out sometimes. But
it's true.
Sooner or later there'll be less of them.
The more that you go through it, the more bubble ups to the surface. Because there's only it's almost like some people that are relieving themselves from trauma. Right? Your brain suppresses certain memories because you can't handle them. But the more you're able to get rid of things that were at the top of the water, right? So let's look at it like there's bubbles coming up in the water. At the top of the water, whatever is there, you can see the surface level stuff. You can clear that. Once that stuff is gone, then whatever was right beneath that starts to bubble up to the surface. And that's how it is with your mindset. And so now I'm learning that there's also ways that you can shift your entire consciousness, so that you don't have to just bubble up, get off the surface, bubble up. You can literally, it's like you just have an entire tsunami, and it's just like a new mind altogether. Right?
I love it.
That's how you shift your messaging. Like, instead of going from level 1 to level 2, you can go from level 1 to level 6 overnight. It's when you shift your consciousness on a massive level, and then this radiates in all of your messaging, all of your copy, and then you'll go back and you'll be like, I don't even recognize who I was yesterday. Who was that person, right? And so that all happens because you first committed and decided that you were going to resonate instead of relate.
This is why I have this woman on C first now in my newsfeed, because this is amazing and powerful stuff. You know that I don't remember any of my 30s. I am in my 40s now. My 30s are a blur, not in every direction, but in terms of where my mindset was, and as Amanda just said, I'm a completely reborn person now. I can relate to a person I was in the 20s, or resonate with the person I was in my 20s, but my 30s, it's a 10 years of my youth blur, a blur, because I just didn't have something or someone to come in and just help me just wake up one moment and say, look, take control of your mind right now, because the earlier you get to know how to do it, the more freedom and enjoyment and power is not a good word, probably light and inspiration you will have in your life.
Yes.
So this is
absolutely.
This is a powerful stuff. That's why I said this is an exclusive Easy Chat. I did say that. Now, Amanda, where can we find you? I know we have your website address in the description here, but how can people follow you? I know you don't accept everybody, but guys, even if you're just following, if you're not so lucky as me and you don't make it through the friends, make sure Amanda is on C first. Even her posts are so powerful. It's something that you need to surround yourself with, inspiration. So she's definitely your woman, 100%. I think my audience here, so many hearts there, so they all agree. I love it. So tell me where they can follow you, where they can find you.
So I am currently on Facebook. You can find me. I have my business page. My handle is the word one, so one Amanda Hines. And I post daily. So you're going to get daily content from me there. Also, my personal page, I do share a lot of inspirational, motivational things there. You can't turn off my training. It's just, it comes to me, right? It's just like, it's am amazing. A messenger. So
that's how I felt when we met.
All my content, I'm always doing messaging stuff. And my posts are public. So you can follow me there. If you hit C first on my business page and on my public page, then you'll be able to see things. Please feel free to interact with me and engage with me. I am not going to bite you. I promise.
She's powerful, but she's friendly.
Yes, I'm powerful but friendly, I promise.
Now, this is great stuff. You know what, Amanda just made my day today. If I had to put a name to this day, it would be Amanda Hines. Seriously, and this is so. I am really blessed that we met. I'm glad I'm not listening to my brain anymore, and we've had this conversation, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you found that this video brought you value, please hit that share button, because I'm sure that there's so many people in your connections that probably will need to see and listen to this conversation. This is a serious stuff and very powerful. And of course, follow the Easy Chats, because I bring you amazing people like Amanda quite often. So please do yourself a favor and hit that follow button. Guys, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you're in the world. And Amanda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye, y'all.